their lotus faces. May these charming deer, who are full of love for Sri Yugala, give us the treasure of their ecstatic love, and thus delight us at every moment. The bewilderingly fragrant kunjas of Braj are permeated with a vast variety of pleasing flowers enjoyed by swarms of sweetly humming bees. In these love bowers, the youthful Sri Yugala enjoy amorous affairs, their hearts delighted by the rising waves of calm. Let us sweep these aromatic kunjas with our long hair. The youthful Radhamadava, taking shelter under the umbrella of refreshingly cool shade cast by the dense leafy trees, blissfully enjoy love play on a bed of flowers day and night. Their bed of blossoms glistens with fragrant pollen falling from the flowers in the trees, and their honey attracts swarms of restless bees who happily worship Yugala Kishore while humming their glories. May these trees always protect us. May we stay eternally in Braj, in their pleasant shade, and do bhajan. The gently smiling lovers, Sri Gandhava Muravairi, surrounded by their sweetly smiling gopi friends, playfully quarrel as they slowly move along, picking flowers from the creepers. Witnessing these ever-fresh verbal contentions, the creepers of Raj also smile and laugh, their profuse blossoms expressing their joy. May we serve these transcendental creepers with great love and affection. Plunged into the nectar of their service, the birds of Raj are very dear to the youthful Sri Yugala. Always staying close by, they delight Kishore with their sweet singing. May they delight me as well with their merciful glance. The birds especially love to be with Srimati Radhika, taking shelter of her oceanic Vatsalya Bhav with her prem, greater even than Krishna's. The birds perform so many intimate services for her, helping to arrange their leelas by carrying messages and letters to and from Krishna, warning when Jatila is coming, fanning her with their wings, watching her from the branches of the trees, and singing just the right song to increase her moods, and even knowing when to keep silent, being so in tune with her heart. These birds, deeply drinking Prem Ras, become thoroughly intoxicated, lose control of themselves, and forget who they are. May these birds, who are Radhika's constant companions, delight me with their merciful glance, and help me to reach their mistress. My heart is on fire without her seva, so I pray for the cool shower of their glance. Because they are fully under her protection, I pray that I may also come under her wing, and may they inspire me to sing Radhamadava's glories as sweetly and lovingly as they do. With body, mind, and words I lavish heaps of praise upon the bees of Raj, who, while hovering about the mango, bakul, kadamba, and other trees, as well as wandering through the madhvi and other flowering vines, greatly increase Radha Govinda's pleasure by eulogizing them with their melodious humming, the sound of Madan's conch. Blooming with happiness, Giridhari, the king of the kunjas, decorates Nikunjeshwari Sri Radha with many fully blossomed flowers that he picked from the grand kadamba tree outside their kunj. Her heart blossoming with joy as he covers her with kadamba flowers, she brings her beloved under control with her crooked glances. May that king of kadamba trees, who assists in Sri Yugala's enjoyment, appear before me and enhance the pleasure of my eyes. Her eyes rolling in invitation, Nikunjeshwari signals to Giridhari that she will certainly satisfy his earnest request for prem. His heart abounding with excitement, Giridhari is anxious to do battle with Nikunjeshwari's two soldiers, and he happily prays, I want to fight with my two enemies. Happily, Srimati Radhika, now Swadhin Bhatrik, controlling her beloved, immediately accepts his proposal. With great delight, Nikunjeshwar Shri Krishna decorates his sweetheart with flowers from the nearby kadamba tree. From that tree's many-colored and many-sized blossoms, he fashions earrings, a nose stud, armlets, and various other ornaments. He weaves flowers into her hair and delicately places petals on her cheeks in a charming design. Greatly fearful that he had committed an offense to Sri Krishna, the Surapati Indra humbly grasped his lotus feet. With the help of a Surabhi cow, he performed Krishna's Abhishek festival, bathing him with the water of the celestial Ganges. Receiving the name Govinda, Krishna was established as king of the cows with great pomp and splendor. I pray that Govinda Kund, the lake created by that ceremony, may eternally manifest before my eyes. I take shelter of the place named Anukut, where Rajraj Nanda offered a mountain of rice and huge quantities of other foodstuffs to Giriraj Govardhan. Here, Agari Krishna assumed a gigantic form, proclaimed that he was actually Govardhan Hill, and invited everyone to ask boons from him, fooling all the Vrajvasis and even Srimati Radhika, who don't know that Govardhan is actually Shamasundar. He gave benedictions to each person and then ate the huge offering. All the Vrajvasis happily prayed to Giriraj that Shamasundar should have a long life and should be blessed with a nice wife. Radhika was also there, praying to Giriraj to make Krishna her Upapati and to give her the chance to serve him. Brihat Kai Krishna answered her prayer, but only after some time, wanting to keep her there in front of him to drink her beauty deeply. With great love and devotion, I worship the place located at the summit of Govardhan Hill, named Haristal, where the charming and handsome Hari always enjoys ever new and fresh, blissful pastimes. Here he is decorated with royal ornaments befitting a prince. From this peak, Hari is able to see Srimati Radhika and the gopis standing in another part of Govardhan, and experiences great jubilation when they look at each other from the distance. Here, he is decorated with Radhika's bhavs, which inspire his heart from afar. I do pranam to Haristal, who should inspire anurag in my heart, so that I can taste Swarasiki Upasana. One morning, Nagarendra, the youthful king of amorous heroes, surrounded by his friends, became eager at heart to enjoy the Dan Keli pastime. Blocking the path, he forbade Sri Gandhava and her girlfriends to pass, proclaimed himself a toll collector appointed by Madan, and demanded that they pay tax on the milk products they were carrying. Time and again I offer pranam and sing the glories of Sri Krishna Vedi, where this Leela took place. When will the day be mine when I can go there with Srimati Radhika and her Sakis? May I always reside at Dan Nivartan Kund, with the solitary place where Radha Madhava completed their Dan Keli Leela. The truth of this lake remains hidden to persons averse to tasting pure devotional mellows, and is known only to the Rasika devotees. Eager to see the enchanting pastimes that happened around Govardhan, I praise all the exalted ponds and other holy places manifested as so many beautiful jewels circling the hill. Baladev Kund, Brahma Kund, Kadamba Kandi, Kusama Sarovara, Rudra Kund, Apsara Kund, Gauri Tirtha, Chandra Sarovara, Rina Pap Mochan Kund, Malyahar Kund, Vibudari Kund, Shama Kund, Indra Daja Vedi, as well as Chakra Tirtha and Sri Ratnapith, the jeweled throne situated upon Daivat Giri, the divine Govardhan. Aho, I worship Govinda Stal, the famous and sanctified place where every spring the gopis push Sri Gandhava Giridhari on a swing. Their faces blossom with happiness, tasting the nectar of these swing pastimes. Bathing here and drinking its waters, I worship Kalyarad, the lake where Hari punished Kalyanag for having offended his friends, who were more precious to him than his own life. He danced on his hoods and rhythmically kicked him with the soles of his feet. I eternally take shelter of the sacred place which bears the name Dwadash Surya Tirtha, the place of the 12 suns. After chastising Kalya in the Yamuna, the munificent Murari Ripu, Sri Krishna, was shivering with cold. Here he was warmed with great devotion by the strong rays of 12 suns, Adityas, while the Gopas, Gopis, and lowing Surabhi cows looked on. When Sri Govinda was being served by the intense heat of the Adityas shining from every direction, perspiration trickled from his body, creating a sacred pond. The waters of this charming pond are most aromatic and splendid, bearing the sweet fragrance of Govinda's tender, beautiful, and lustrous limbs. I worship and praise the most brilliant Praskandan Kund. I take shelter of Chiragat, where the cowherd maidens performed an exceptional vow to please Katyayani Devi to get Krishna as their husband. They left their clothes on the bank of the Yamuna and dipped into her clear, cold waters. Smiling, Sri Krishna stole their garments without being noticed and climbed a nearby Kadamba tree with their clothes. After teasing and embarrassing the gopis sufficiently, he eventually returned their garments. With his mad whinnying, the great horse demon Keshi made the three worlds tremble, and with a wild rolling of his burning eyes, he set the entire universe in flames. Sri Krishna killed this demon as easily as one splits a blade of grass, and then washed his blood-stained hands in the Yamuna at a place now known as Keshi Tirtha, Keshi Ghat. I worship that sacred place. I praise the place where Krishna and Balaram were playing freely with their beloved Sakhas when they were attacked by hunger. Here the supremely beautiful wives of the learned Yajika Brahmins happily and devotedly fed all the cowherd boys many varieties of the 4 kinds of foodstuffs, each dish rebuking the taste of nectar. I always glorify the sacred place and roll at the feet of these Brahmanis, for it is certain that with their blessings one will attain steady devotion. Desiring to attain the precious gift of being embraced by the arms of Rajendranandan Shamasundar, the splendid gopis, filled with pranaya, devotedly and happily worshipped Gopishwar Mahadev on the bank of the Yamuna. I daily worship that Gopishwar Mahadev, who quickly granted the gopis their desire. Seeing her father worship Surya Dev out of fear of the nearby Kamsa, Srimati Radhika, in the secluded place known as Santanupad, also earnestly worshipped Surya Dev to attain the association of a certain youth whose complexion is as dark as a host of monsoon clouds. I pray that Surya Dev, who removes obstacles to our bhakti, may protect us. Fearing Kamsa, who is killing the newborn boys and kidnapping the baby girls, Vrishabhanu Maharaj safely hid Srimati Radhika in a secluded place known as Santanupad. Having seen the handsome Sham, whose complexion is as dark as a host of monsoon clouds, she earnestly worshipped Suryadev to attain his association. May Suryadev protect us and remove all obstacles to our bhakti. During Sri Krishna's great birth festival, Vrajraj Nanda respectfully and happily donated to the local Brahmins a mountain of glittering jeweled ornaments, an even greater mountain of sesame, and 200,000 young cows, all beautifully decorated with gold and strings of pearls. I glorify Mahavan, the place where the king of Vraj distributed this charity. In Vrisharavipura, densely populated with many gopas, gopis, and Surabhi cows, the precious jewel of Srimati Radhika emerged from the mine of Kirtida Devi's womb, which is glorified by jubilant demigods and sages as well as ordinary human beings. I pray that when I enter King Vrishabhanu's capital city of Raval, I may drown in a great flood of love. Although for her own happiness she yearns to place Krishna's soft and beautiful lotus feet on her raised breasts, Srimati Radhika is reluctant to do so, fearing that even though her body is very delicate, her breasts are too hard. I pray that Sheshashayi Sri Krishna will kindly bestow upon us eternal residence in his enchanting Vraj. Krishna briefly displayed his Anantashayi Vishnu form to satisfy Sri Radhika's curiosity, and laid down on a 1,000-petal lotus in the middle of Shirasagra while she massaged his lotus feet. Let me worship Sri Radhamadava's most favorite forest, Kamyavan, which is the site of Kam Sarovara, also known as Gopika Ramana Sarovara, where the gopis enjoy many amorous pastimes with their beloved. I worship Bandirvan, where my Rasmai mistress, Krishna's beloved Radha, dressed herself with her closest friends as wrestlers when she proudly and eagerly wrestled here with Krishna, the killer of Bakasura. She greatly pleased Madana, the god of love. As the Yamuna was slowly flowing towards the salt ocean due to separation from Krishna, Balaramji ordered her to come close. When she would not comply, he became irate and dragged her with the tip of his plough. Even today, the river's crooked course can still be seen. With deep devotion, I praise this wonderful place known as Ram Ghat. Distressed at seeing her bosom friends enter the greatly sinful Aghasura's belly, which burned with virulent poison dangerous as a great forest fire, Murari also entered the serpent's mouth. Within a moment he killed that vile demon and rescued his friends. May Sarpastali, the place where the Lord enjoyed these pastimes, also protect us. I worship Vatsahar Stali, where, eager to behold his master's wonderful glories, the creator Brahma quickly snatched away the cowherd boys and calves. Hari then assumed the forms of all the boys and calves, and greatly pleased their mothers by gladly eating all the delectable foodstuffs they offered him. I eternally offer respects to the sacred place known as Shesha Biru Chatirmukha, as well as to Shesha Shri Krishna himself. Here the four-faced Brahma fell on the ground and offered prayers to the Lord, afraid that he had committed a grave offense by stealing the cowherd boys and calves. Amidst profuse tears, he offered many wonderful and unprecedented prayers, glorifying the gently smiling Mukunda, the wonderful cowherd son of the king of Raj. I glorify again and again Krishna's dearly prized 12 forests, where armies of intoxicated bees buzz about masses of fragrant flowers. These forests are splendid with many desire trees and wish-fulfilling creepers, and are further beautified by many expansive lakes, rivers, and large hills. With utmost reverence I worship Sri Uddhava Mahashayi, who is filled with the flavors of love for Sri Murari, both as servant and friend. Krishna's lotus feet are millions of times more dear to him than his own life, but he left them behind and stayed in Vraj for 10 months. There he consoled and revived the Vrajvasis by constantly narrating Krishna's pastimes and assuring them, "Look, Krishna is just now coming from Mathura." With deep reverence, I glorify all the residents of Vraj. How fortunate they are to be so dear to Krishna and to always lovingly serve him. Just to have the chance to bathe in the foot dust of these pious Vrajvasis, even the great Brahma, busy with the creation entrusted to him by Bhagavan, sincerely yearns to take birth in Vraj as a blade of grass, shrub, creeper, or any other similar species. Every day I praise and worship all the Vrajvasis, and I pray for their blessings that I will also get eternal residence in Vraj. Having previously worshipped the beautiful lotus feet of Sri Gandhava Achyuta with ever fresh and sweet loving sentiments, some great souls are able to reside on the bank of my Swamini's favorite lake, Radhakund. These exalted personalities are the mainstay of my life. I praise the glories of the blissful grass, bushes, insects, and other creatures of Braj, who assisting in his pastimes are all very dear to Mukunda. Their good fortune is coveted by Brahma, Uddhav, and others, as is repeatedly and clearly established in Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh, when will I wander around the slopes of Govardhan, madly calling out over and over again, "Hey Radhe, hey Krishna," and when stumbling and sometimes falling unconscious on the ground, will I sprinkle their playland with the constant flow of my tears. How can I possibly describe this land of Vraj, whose billowing sweetness cannot be fully comprehended even by Brahma, Narad, Shiva, or many other of the most exalted Premi devotees? Only Baladev and his mother Rohini Devi truly know the glories of Raj, and Sri Uddhava, intoxicated with prem, knows something of it. Even if I have the opportunity to bathe in the nectarian ocean of prem, and even if I have the pure devotees as my associates, I will not consent to live, even for a single moment, in any sacred place other than Raj Bhumi. Even if the residents of Raj appear to be ordinary, and even if they fill my ears with useless gossip, I pray that I may remain among them, eternally residing here in Vraj. May all my inclinations to love be fully fixed at the lotus feet of Sri Radha, who is so qualified that all divine attributes worship her. She has become the exclusive object of Muradvisha's blind infatuation through the diplomatic genius of Sri Rupa Manjari, who lovingly and cleverly brings Yugala Kishore together for their passionate enjoyment. The lotus feet of Sri Manjari, who is brimming with love for Muradvish and who expertly worships Sri Radha, of the only goal of my life. Those who always reverently and eagerly recite this beautiful Vraja-Vilasa-Stava, which is filled with the sweetness and loving sentiments of the eternal residents of Vraj, will certainly attain direct darshan of Yugala Kishore along with all their associates. Srila Raghunatha Das Goswami's Disappearance Day Ki Jai.